Hey there, Pythonic Accountant here. Today, we're going to take a look at using Claude in its desktop environment to do a little bit of data analysis for us. We're going to act as if it is a professional kind of data analysis guru at our fingertips and show how we can explore some general ledger type data. So what I've done is I have gone and found some publicly available financial data. This is from state of Oklahoma. And what we're going to be doing is taking a look at this data. So let's just open it up to see just, kind of what it looks like before we actually get into it. So this is CSV data. And what we can see is it's got a whole bunch of different fields and it's got some, information about these different transactions. You've got, some program product description, program code, a lot of interesting things. I'm not going to provide it, Claude, with any of the information about this. I'm just going to see what it can infer and just, do some analysis here and just have fun. So first what we're going to do is we're going to go into my terminal application, and I have already navigated to where I've saved that file. So if you see, I can display the Ledger FY25 quarter 4 CSV file here. So I'm going to kick open Claude, which I've already installed on my machine. And this is available to anyone who's paying the $20 a month Claude subscription. You can actually download this, I think, on a Windows or Mac machine, I believe, and then just run this in your command shell. So I'm just going to start saying like, hi, I want you to act as my data analytics accounting guru and help me with some analysis and testing of a CSV file with financial transactions. Ready to rock? And now what's fun is this is, intended primarily to be a developer assistant, right? Like it writes code for you and saves the code, but it can do anything else you need on the command line. It can run Python code as well. So it says, okay, to get started, what's the path to your CSV file? It's in the current working folder. Whoops, what did I do there? Okay, it's in the current working folder. Let's start with some overarching stats about the data, some analysis of the fields, and maybe look for any unusual transactions based on vendor or description as a starting point. Then when we have a good idea of what is in here, we can do some useful trend analysis and data visualization. Okay. So it should be able to find the file because it's in the current working directory. I may need to give it permission to start running some commands, but it might just already have access to it. So you can see it's already searching for, star.csv, and so it's great. Okay, I found the file. Let's start analyzing it. And it said, okay, this is a large file. Let me just read the header in a few sample rows and then write some Python script to analyze it properly. So this is fantastic. This is like, if I had a human who I asked to do this, I would probably expect they would do the exact same thing, right? They try to open up the file in Excel, they'd say, okay, this is bigger than I was expecting, and I would rather use Python to go ahead and analyze this because then I have a lot more control over doing things quickly. So it's now reading just the first 50 lines, and it's not showing me all the details of what it's doing, but it says it's using Python to analyze it. So now it's reading and examining the CSV file structure. So kind of what we were doing initially, but it's doing a little bit more detail and with the goal in mind of doing what I asked it to do, which was start with some overarching statistics about the data, some analysis on the fields, etc. So let's just take a quick look at what it did so far before we move on. So you can see it wrote a Python script and executed it. So it's analyze ledger.py, where it's using pandas, numpy, counter, which helps it count the number of items and things, sys, which allows it to actually interact with the system, and these are just some display options here. And it's, let's see, financial ledger analysis, loading the CSV file, just some information about, what it's going to do. And so now it's iterating through the data types. So for each of the columns, it's saying, okay, this is the data type of each of the columns here. It's getting some information about the memory being used. It's giving some summary of the financial transactions that are posted in here, some statistical information. It's doing some counts of positives and negatives, doing some field analysis. This is pretty good, pretty robust initial analysis. So let's see. Oh, this is the draft. So I'll say, yeah, go ahead, allow all edits. That sounds great. I like what I saw. So let's go ahead and draft and execute this. So yes, I will allow you to run Python 3 commands. So this is a good control that it has in place. So if you're either not comfortable with Claude or if you have very sensitive data on your machine or whatever, you may want to, approve every single thing that it does as it goes. That's probably the best practice here. I've worked with Claude quite a bit, and given what I'm doing here and what I have on this machine, I'm comfortable with it having permission to run Python 3 commands without asking me every time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you'll see it realized, uh-oh, there's no module named pandas. So hopefully it will install pandas, and sure enough, it does. But let's instead say I don't want it to install the main Python. Please use a .env virtual environment instead for this project. Just in case. I don't think it was in a virtual environment. So now it should create a virtual environment instead and install the necessary libraries and go from there. There we go. So now it's still in the main task of reading and examining the CSV file structure, but underneath it, it's doing what it needs to do to get there, which is using Python, creating a virtual environment, and adding the required third-party libraries that it needs to do the analysis. Okay, so it's I love the little messages that it gives as it's working. It's befuddling currently, whatever befuddling means. It's just got a whole library of cute little messages meaning it's doing its work, which is pretty cool. And I can ask to show its thinking if I want, but that's okay. What I really like too is it shows you the number of tokens that it's using as it's going. So you can get a sense of whether you need to kind of restart or whether you're in good shape token wise. Because you don't want it to get to too many tokens. Then it starts to, either cost more or run through my limit. Like I only have a certain limit of tokens that I can use before this, will give me a message saying, sorry, you can't send any more messages until later today, it might say 11 a.m. or something like that. And the usage here is the same usage as if I was in the main Claude chat interface within Anthropic. There's a higher level I could upgrade to, but I don't use this enough to need that right now. So I'm just paying for that $20 a month. So let's see what it gave us. Okay, the analysis is complete. Here are the key insights from your FY25 Q4 ledger. There's 356,000 total transactions across 169 agencies. The net amount is 76.9 million. Transaction ranges from negative 1.49 billion to positive 1.46 billion, exclamation mark. 81% are debits and 15% are credits. 3.8% are $0. It's a very clean data set. Only one field has nulls, 36 columns with good cardinality. Cardinality meaning there's not a whole bunch of different unique um, options of what value could be in those columns. So it's good for data science, good for analysis, good for visualization. Top accounts are mostly payroll. The big dollar amounts are cash, interfront transfers, appropriate transfers. Unusual transactions identified. We've got extreme outliers. Oklahoma Tax Commission, has clearing account TBD of 1.46 billion. That's interesting. That's definitely a good finding. Healthcare Authority has a $1.24 billion cash balance entry. Many large transactions in the hundreds of millions. Rare but significant transactions. Some suspicious patterns like 13,000 $0 transactions, mostly in payroll accounts. Some large round numbers. And then now ready to dive deep. So what I would like to do from here, this will be kind of fun. We've got a good starting point, but I kind of want to build a front end application to view this and analyze this. And instead of having Claude do this for me, I'm going to switch to a different tool that I love called, and I love Claude too, don't worry, Claude, but Google's AI Studio is unbelievable with its capabilities. I think I've demonstrated it in a previous video. If not, then this might be my first one, but it's just awesome. I'll show you. So I did try creating something with it before with this, and it didn't quite work because I just generally asked for it to be able to analyze a file that gets loaded, but it didn't specify the field names or what the file structure would look like or the size or what to do. But now Claude has all of that information. So I'm going to say, please write. All right, and didn't want to make you read me or watch me type all that in. So I'm asking Claude to give me a prompt that I can give to Google's AI Studio that will take this file as an input and do the same kind of analysis that we're having Claude do now, but display it in a front end experience, a front end display. So we're going to see what it comes up with. I did say, do you have any questions for me first? Because I find that it will be a lot better if I tell it what the questions are. So one, I'll let the AI decide. So I don't care about the tech stack preference. I'll just let it decide. To hosting and deployment, I'll let it decide. Data processing, let's see. In browser, that's fine. I'll let it decide. Probably browser, but make sure it knows how big the file is so it can plan accordingly. Handle it. Let's see. For visualization library preference, no pref. So I like letting Google AI decide. It's pretty opinionated, but it has a really good does a really good job. Outlier detection. Let's see. You choose based on what you've seen so far. Six, multiple file support. Um, nah, just one file at a time for now. And then seven, export capabilities. Sure, PDF reports would be cool, but let's wait on that. Okay. I don't want to overdo it for this first version. I want it to be have the best chance of being successful. So we're going to try to do this without adding any bells and whistles yet. And if we're able to get it to work, I might ask Google's AI Studio to add some AI capabilities in. So this is the really cool thing about this Google AI Studio is it can actually add Google Gemini capabilities into the application because it has the ability to do so since it is Google and the integration is just built in. And what it'll do is it'll give you sort of a preview of what the capabilities are using the Gemini within the application. But then if you want to, kind of scale it up or use it full steam, you've got to add an API key so that way it can actually do more with the API or with the Gemini. All right, this is very robust. I am very excited. This should work, I hope. Okay, so perfect. Here's a comprehensive prompt for Google AI Studio or any AI coding agent. Prompt. Project overview. Build a full stack application, yada yada, to handle large CSV files and provide automated statistical analysis, outlier detection, interactive visualizations. Data format and structure. This is great. It's showing us what the structure is, what the field types are, so it knows how to build specifically for those fields and not having to infer. Giving some sample data characteristics so it knows what to expect. Some required functionality, statistical dashboard. So this is a lot, but we'll see if it can handle it. I don't, oh my gosh, UI, UX layout suggestion. Sure, why not? I'm just going to take this and give it to Google's AI Studio and just see what happens. Let's see if I can copy this, select all, and copy. Okay, and now we're in Gemini's Google AI Studio. Build your ideas with Gemini. We're going to use, you know what? Let's use, we could use, yeah, I think default's probably good because we want it to get it right. Do we want to do anything with the system instructions? Hmm, I don't think so. I think it's just fine to just leave it as is. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a full prompt. and see what it does. I'm not going to give it the file yet because I don't think it needs the file. It has enough information already. And I'm going to click build. And I don't know if this will come through, but it's smart enough. It should probably figure it out, or it'll decide on its own. And so now what's really cool is you're going to see it's going to come up with a plan and start executing against that plan, similar to some of the other AI coding agents, but the interface is just really nice. It's going to start building multiple files in here, and if it runs into errors, it will hopefully debug those errors as it goes. So let's see what this builds for us. And you can already see it's got a metadata JSON file, index.html, index.tsk, app.tsk. Let's see what it does. Types.ts. So I think TypeScript is what it's using. If we pop over to the code, we can see all of the different, aspects of the code that it's writing. And this is like legit. This is like a full, front end application that it's building. And all of the information that we gave it, it's using to help it understand, how to build this in a way that it will, properly load this CSV file. It's got a CSV parser. That's great. I'm excited. We'll see if this works. I hope so. You've got components, and it's nice. It organizes it well. Like I am definitely not a front end developer. I have barely any experience playing with building front end applications, so I'm not as familiar with the layout or with if I guess is this React? Maybe it's React framework, but it looks well organized, which is nice. And that's useful if you ever have a front end developer or any of these other AI coding agents, review your project. It's just going to be so much nicer having it well organized like this. In the preview, this won't pop up until it's finished developing all of the different files, but then it should pop up with a preview of the working application. And then what we'll do is we'll upload the file and let it do its thing and see if it works. And it did find an error, analyzing one error. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll fix it. I have seen where it goes in like an error loop when it's like analyzing an error, fixing it, and then it like breaks again, and then it tries to fix the error again. So hopefully that won't happen, but we'll see. All right, so it looks like it's finished, but nothing's showing up. So that's not great, but we'll see if we can get it to work. So I'll say, are you done? I just see a blank screen and see what it says. All right, so after several tries, I have come up short with Gemini on this one at least. I even tried a second script or a second attempt where it, tried to write all the code and it was still running into errors and analyzing them, and it just has not been able to fix it on either one. So what I did was I said, all right, Claude, here's your chance to shine. So I asked Claude to do its own version of it, and it did it in, I asked for it to do it in Plotly dash Python library, so that way I can run and host it on my machine. Just makes it a little bit easier. All I said was, just for fun, can you make your own version of this? When you do it, I want Python, so it's super easy for me to deploy. Let's use Plotly dash for the framework, okay? So I said, all right, let's do it. And it's going to build you a beautiful Python dash application with Plotly visualizations. This will be easy to deploy and run locally. So it wrote all the code, it built everything out, and it said all I have to do is run /run dashboard and then upload the CSV file. So let's create a new shell window, and we'll do it right here. So let's see. CD space data analysis Claude, and I do /run dashboard and starting dashboard server. So give me an error. Let's go ahead and let it know it had that error and see if it'll fix it. So I was just able to copy and paste the error. It'll probably realize it's using an old version, and it probably just needs to update it to say whatever it said, run versus run server. and then I'll go back and try it again, see what happens. Let's go to my other window, and I will try run dashboard again. Ooh, second try looks like it's a charm. So I'm going to go to this URL real quick. And as you can see, Google Studio is still not working. So let's, ooh, okay, this is looking good. I like this. Working so far. Let's drag and drop our data. Now it's a big file, so it might take a minute for it to, load up in the application. And oh no, it got an error. Okay, let's work through this. I'm not going to give up yet. And I'm going to go back to our terminal. I'm going to go here and say, here's our error that we got. Can you fix it? And we may have to do this a few times while it, realizes there are some errors and needs to fix them, but I think it will hopefully work soon. And it's saying, enlargest, it doesn't support that. Let's try this instead. So I don't know if I have to restart the application. And yeah, might as well just to be safe. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my shell. I'm going to Control C and then run it again. And then I'll go over and refresh. And now let's bring that file over. I'm just drag and dropping it, and we'll see what it does. Ooh, look at this. Successfully loaded the file. You got 356,000 transactions. Got some overview statistics. This is much nicer. This is nice. I like this. And then down here, you've got some statistical outliers where the z-score is greater than 3. That seems useful. I've got rare high value items. That's nice. Round number items. That's nice. $0 counts. That's really useful. And then you've got visualizations by agency, all agencies. You can filter for the specific agency, but that doesn't seem to work. That's the only problem. So I'm going to give it that feedback to say the filter by agency dropdown lets me select agencies, but the visualizations don't change. Don't get me wrong, these visualizations are awesome, really useful. Let's see if I can get it to fix that piece, and then I'll call this a success. So let's go back and say, this is great. Only issue is the filter by agency lets me do a drop down to select an agency, but none of the visualizations are changing. Let's see if it can figure that out. And the cool thing is this is now set up to be able to upload that exact file format, but for a different quarter. So you don't necessarily need to upload the same one again. You could upload a different quarter. So it said, good catch. I created the dropdown, but didn't wire it to actually filter the charts. Let me add the callback to make it functional. I need to wire up the agency filter. Nice. Okay, it refreshed automatically, so I'm assuming that the change was applied. Let's go ahead and re-upload the data. Should just take a second for it to upload and process with Python. And uh-oh, it ran into new issues. That's not good. Let's see if I can give it some details. Looks like the same. Oh, it looks like some different issues. Let's see if I can give it to all of these issues. Hopefully it'll be able to fix these. Yeah, it said, the components are created dynamically after upload. They're not in the initial layout. Easy fix. Just tell Dash to allow this. That's cool. All right, so let's go back and see if it worked properly. So I'm going to clear that and go back and upload the file and see what we get. Ooh, all right. So same stuff above. That's exciting. Then when we get down below, let's see if we can filter for a specific agency. Updating, that's good. So it's the only feedback I might give is the amount of time it takes to update. Oh, and it doesn't. Okay, so it looks like some of the updates get applied. Let's see if it does anything else here. Okay, so it looks like a couple of the charts are changing, but not all of them. Looks like it's just the top 15 accounts for that specific agency down there, but some of the other ones don't change. So I think that's fine. That's good enough for now. If I was to take this one further, I might separate the section out to have like the agency specific visualizations versus the ones that are not agency specific, but this is pretty awesome. Like if I was trying to analyze this data for, potential fraud or for selecting samples, like this is awesome, right? Like you see your risk-based one here, you see like your overall just kind of view of everything. And like look at how long this took, right? Like if you were doing this for any type of audit readiness, internal controls, or if you're just, trying to help management with understanding its transactions, like think about how long it took for us to build this just to start getting a sense of exploring the data. This was nothing, right? And we even tried using a different tool at first and decided that one didn't work. So just sticking with Claude seemed like it was great. A lot more we can do from here. There's so many different interesting angles we could take. You could have it, statistically select samples for testing. You could, even have it help you test, where you say, "All right, I'm going to pull the documentation and then I'm going to give you information from it. Help me test and document, what I found." Like a lot of really interesting things. So let's stop here, but definitely want to explore more using Claude for doing analysis and doing, data visualizations of accounting data, because this is not bad. I think there's a lot more we can do, but I like it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one.